There's two different islands. There's Gilligan's Island, which if you tell me you actually watched that show, I'm not going to believe you. And then there's Anthony Davis Island. And holy hell is it empty. It is vacant as can be. It's Anthony Davis just looking around going, I need something, man. I need an SOS. I need some help. Davis is one of the best players in the league today, but his team is Garbo 9000. He needs a second star. He needs a third star. Hell, he needs a second role player that's at least decent with some of the team that he's got around him. So we're going to see in this video if the Pelicans draft a potential prospect, if that can change their fortunes. Now, that's not to say the entire roster is bad. He does have Drew Holiday, who can be a bit of an injury scare, but as far as two-way point guards go, he's not too far down the list. He's able to make an impact defensively, and on offense, he's pretty solid at everything. Then there's Tyreke Evans, who, well, efficiency's not his best thing, or his outside shot, or his decision-making, but he can still put the ball on the floor, and he can occasionally finish at the rim. Shout out to Tyreke. You also got Buddy Hield, who seems like he can be a promising shooter in the NBA, but he's a few years away, definitely. And then there's Omer Asik, and when I said Garbo 9000, he's like Garbo 7500. He's one of the worst players in the league, up there with some of the worst starters. He just sucks, man. Besides that, they have a whole slew of guys who really shouldn't be playing more than 15 to 20 minutes a night tops. However, there is a young prospect in college right now by the name of Markelle Fultz. He is a point guard out of Washington, and right now he's slated to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft coming up next season. His ability to get inside is pretty damn valuable. He's smooth as hell, his ball handling is crisp, his ability to get by a defender, get inside, finish at the rim. It's the reason they think he's number 1, and it also seems like he could be a perfect pick-and-roll tandem with Anthony Davis, and he could be the second star that this team really needs. Now, that's not to say he's perfect. He does have to work on his consistency when it comes to defense. Sometimes he can fall asleep a little bit, and while he has improved on his three-pointer, he's not a natural shooter, so sometimes his mechanics are out of whack. These are things that can be cleaned up. So we're going to see if the Pelicans draft him, we simulate a couple of seasons, how good can they be? Now, this is, of course, according to 2K, so take it with a grain of salt, or like 5 grains of salt. And also remember, this is not a rebuild, so I'm not going to be going out of my way to acquire players and do trades to make this team as good as possible. We're going to try to keep it as close to how it would actually be in real life as it can be, I would guess. Now, that being said, I still think Drew Holiday should start because Fultz in his rookie year, you don't know how much he's really going to move the needle, and I think Buddy Hield can help because he's already a good outside shooter. Provide the team with some spacing. So here's the lineup for you. I think the tandem of Drew Holiday and Buddy Hield might be the best backcourt in the league when it comes to hair, which, I mean, that's never a bad thing. Fultz has also got a flat top. That's a good look. So early on, we're around 500. We're not killing at the moment. I don't think anybody expected that. But actually, given how bad it's going in real life at the moment, I think a record of, 5-9 is not the worst? 5-10? Alright, the L's are starting to pile up a little bit, which is not the best thing in the world. But the green is coming back. We got some W's, and they actually fought to over 500. That's pretty damn good. My goodness. Team is actually pretty okay. 6th seed in the Western Conference. I thought we were going to be still going to the lottery. It could still happen, of course, so don't hold your hat just yet. Or are you supposed to hold your hat? I don't know how that saying goes. Leave me alone. Now, the people of New Orleans seem pretty jazzed about this team as it's had 100% fan interest. You see what I did there? Because jazz music is, so big in New Orleans. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, man. I'm just talking to you until the simulator gets through. 43 wins. Pretty damn good, I would say. Shout out to LeBron for winning MVP. It seemed he tried to get that triple-double, but the assists were a little bit short. Dennis Smith, Rookie of the Year. Brandon Knight doing whatever the hell he's doing. It seems like it's just a solid team around AD. I mean, we had 3 guys of over 5 assists, or really close to it. Fultz with a solid 11 and 6. So it seems like Anthony Davis was being a beast, of course, but then the rest of the team was just good enough, which I guess is a formula to winning. And 43 wins on a team full of veterans wouldn't be the best thing, but given that we have 2 young guys in Fultz as well as Buddy Hield, I would say we're on the upswing. That's pretty damn good. And while Drew Holiday was better than Fultz this season, perhaps next year will be the time that we start Markelle, because that blow-up is coming at some point. Buddy was also doing a nice job as a solid shooting guard for us, a good second season for him. Into the postseason, we got the T-Wolves. This is going to be Reddit's favorite matchup ever. Anthony Davis versus Karl Anthony Towns. Let's appreciate the fact that I'm completely ignoring Andrew Wiggins to preview this series. Don't talk about it, it's fine. What the hell is going to happen in this one? That was a clean sweep. That wasn't even a contest. That was like as anticlimactic as they come. That was as anticlimactic as Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. And it seems that Buddy Hield was doing a Michael Jordan impression. Now in the second round, we have the San Antonio Spurs, so I think the intensity is ramped up just a little bit. Or not, because Kawhi Leonard is the most robotic person ever. Let's notice how I talk about Kawhi Leonard, but he's not actually in the highlights of the video. Can we defeat the San Antonio Spurs? The young team versus the veterans. This is going to be a hell of a challenge for us, and we actually pushed them to a Game 7, but we still go down. But you know what? We draft Fultz, we win 43 games, and we take the Spurs all the way to Game 7 in Round 2. I would say that's a hell of a first year, especially because Buddy Hield is getting better as well. I'd say we're looking up. Shout out to the Warriors for sweeping the Cavaliers. Now, if this was a rebuild, I would dump Solomon Hill and Omer Asik and Eachwan Moore and probably a Jinka as well. And I would go to free agency and look to acquire a big-time center. But I don't want to do anything too crazy because that's probably not what would happen in real life, you know? And there's a lot of damn good centers. I mean, imagine Boogie and AD or Anthony Davis and Nerlens Noel. There's a lot of really good names here, but again, this is not a rebuild. To move on to the next season, Markelle, we're going to try him in the starting lineup. You know the blow-up is coming with him, as they do with guys who get drafted 5th overall and then do really well in their rookie season. So we got to be ready for it, so we might as well jump on the opportunity right now and see if he can really be the second star player that this team needs. I mean, first year went pretty good. Let's take it to a next level. What do you say, 50 wins? Also, Drew wasn't very efficient, so there's another reason for you. I hope his feelings don't get hurt. I mean, I guess if it goes really poorly, we can just switch the point guards. Oh great, we're 0-3 at the moment. Just forget everything I just said. Or maybe not, we're actually on a winning streak now. And it's a solid 4-4. I don't even know what to make of this. We are as 500 as they come. Until now, because we start losing. So, maybe the Markelle Fultz experiment not working as we would have imagined. Okay, we're 6-13. Markelle, maybe next season, maybe later on this year, but for right now, Drew, you got to get back in the starting lineup. Also, if you're like me and you were ever wondering this, and I know you are, the reason Drew Holiday's name is spelled J-R-U-E is because his family felt like giving him a name that started with a J. There's no higher meaning than that. So I guess that's grounds for being like, okay, that's an interesting idea. Again, what the hell am I talking about? We're actually doing okay with Drew. Shout out to the Jays because we're above 500 after not going pretty well in the beginning of the season. And so we have the same exact record, 43 wins. So this season was a bit of a disappointment, but we managed to save it a little bit. Fultz actually, from a production standpoint, was the second best on the team. Maybe he's meant to be the 6th man for us, which is a little disappointing given that he was drafted 5th overall. Now his efficiency is a problem. I mean, Drew is definitely killing him in that category, and I mean, even if you're putting up 15 and 6, but you're not efficient, that's pretty tough for winning basketball. We got the Rockets in round 1. Shout out to the beard of James Harden. I'd say we can win this one. They have Jeremy Lin on the team, who's something. And also, this clip right here is not a foul, trust me, he just poked the ball away from Lin. Because I felt like showing that. We can win this series, right? Well, it's definitely a battle, but we beat them in 6 games. Now we have the T-Wolves once again. Well, let me show the stats right quick. Fultz actually balled out. We should beat these guys again, right? Nope, straight payback. Now they sweep us. We swept them, they sweep us. I don't know what it means. And if we look at how it went down in the final game, AD was trying, but no one else was really able to come through. And the Warriors beat the Cavs once again. I'm sure LeBron's not happy. And so we go into this 3rd and final season with this thing. This has to be the year that Fultz takes off, right? We have a track record at this point. We're going to start Drew Holiday to open up the season. And hopefully this can be the year, because I don't want to see Anthony Davis on a bad team. I want AD to be in the playoffs and in the conference finals and dunking on Draymond Green. Don't we all want that? And of course, I don't want to put too much pressure on Markelle, but at the same time, like, this is the guy who we expect to be the second torch for this team, if I can throw out some Skip Bayless-esque generality on you for a moment. But even with that, he is going to be coming off the bench in the beginning. I would prefer not to, as he's actually, according to overall, the second best player on the team. But we're better with Drew starting, so we'll see what happens, and if it's not going well, then Markelle will take over the starting lineup. I love how the fans are still at 100%. They're just happy all the time, man. Shout out to New Orleans. Shout out to Lil Wayne, even if he caused a bit of a ruckus like a week ago. And he also hasn't had a good mixtape in like 7 years. But you know what? It's actually bad. Alright. Markelle, get in there. Hopefully this is the storyline that we need to finally turn this damn thing around, man. I was expecting like 55 plus wins, Markelle to be one of the better players in the league, and it's going kinda south. We're still under 500, but then something kinda crazy happens as we just start winning. Like a lot. We can't frickin' stop, dude. And suddenly the disappointment of this season has turned around to a lot of excitement. This is actually going like way too damn well, as they're like on pace to being one of the better teams in the NBA. Well, I say that, and then for whatever reason, they just start losing like every frickin' game that they play. They actually can't stop losing. What the hell happened, guys? It was going so well, then you went on like a 35-game losing streak. And now suddenly, they might not even make the postseason. And we look at AD still doing his thing. Buddy Hield has grown into a nice solid player. Markelle is good, but really hasn't taken off either. And the efficiency, I mean, he's improving, but his three-pointer is almost non-existent. Seems 2K has screwed over the Pelicans here, man. And then in the last 2 games of the season, just to sum it all up, don't even make the playoffs. Listen, Pelicans fans, Fultz seems to be really damn good. I think if they draft him, it's going to go better than this. I think he has all the tools to be a great point guard, or a shooting guard potentially, because of his ability to drive inside, his size also, as well as just his craftiness. So, don't listen to 2K. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It'll be all good if this happens in real life.